Hello everyone, welcome to Fast Track on Herald Global. I am Saimik Sen. Joining us today, the Managing Director of Securens, Mr. Sunil Udupa. So first of all, thank you so much for taking out this time and welcome to Herald Global. I would like to begin by asking you, what kind of role does security and surveillance play, especially during the time of pandemic?
It's a very good question, Saimik. Pandemic threw up a Pandora box, so is to say.
Sure.
So there were 2 or 3 issues came in. Firstly, you are aware, you must have seen in the news, all these guys who were guarding left and went home, right? You have seen
Sure.
the
Yes.
big news coverage. So our customers were left high and dry. So they were little worried. Now what happens? So that is the time we came up and stood true to our mission statement, prevent crime before it happens. And I think we did exceedingly well. We did not allow a single crime to happen in our customers. Okay? And the customers, the second thing that happened was the offices were closed, right? You remember? Yeah. So then what happened? Within 48 hours, okay, Securens was operating off-site. The entire monitoring was being done off-site with our office being completely closed.
Okay.
Yeah. And we did this through our people across India. Our office is right now only in Mappe. But when the pandemic happened, the monitoring happened in Kolkata, Bangalore, Chennai, Cochin, God knows where. Yeah.
Okay.
So everywhere else, people were there because you never know. Right? My one monitoring engineer suddenly can get COVID. So it's not this X number of people are going to work every day, right? Suddenly it will become X by 3, right? X by 3
very
is gone.
challenging time. Yes.
Yeah. So we had that. We had a proper plan, and that plan kicked into process. And I had customers calling me, Sunil, please have a look at this. Please, these sites are very important. Can you at least look at this site? I said, sir, we are 100% on. Don't worry about it. There is no this side, that side. We are 100% on. So they were very happy. Yeah.
Okay.
But it was a little difficult for a couple of my employees because we had to lay them off like everybody else.
Yes.
But once we laid them off, we did not leave them high and dry. We created a personal fund of employees who were working with Securens, put some money month on month, every month, and we found out through our HR which are my engineers who have real trouble, like they have a EMI to pay, otherwise they'll be kicked out of the house. Yeah, home EMI. People who have no money, mother, father not working, and if there's no salary, they're not going to eat food. So our HR did a complete survey. And we got a list of people, and believe it or not, we were giving them money month on month, every month. Okay, till they got another job. But this was not of Securens per se. Securens added some value to it, saying that if employees contribute 100 rupees, maybe Securens will give another 50. But they were extremely happy that we did not leave it was not left high and dry, put it this way. Yeah. But nice. I mean, it was a very nice feeling at the end of it.
True. My next question to you is, we were introduced to high level of surveillance system through Hollywood movies like Mission Impossible. So my question to you is, how much of it is true?
Well, we are a little bit far away from Mission Impossible, but the mission is not impossible. Yeah. But right now what we are doing is very close to any Western movies, high level security that you might have seen. I would wager that probably we are one step ahead from most of the Western countries in terms of e-surveillance. This is a guarantee. Look at what India is doing. Look at what any other country is doing. It is not, what we are doing is not that. Simple thing. We do something called video verification in two-way audio. We started this 11 years back when Securens started. Okay? Even now in US, please go and find out how many monitoring companies are there. Take a survey and find out how many people are doing video verification and two-way audio. You'll be surprised, it could be less than 10%. So we are a step ahead. India is now a step ahead in almost everything digital. Yeah? And that's the beauty of India.
Coming to your brand, Securens is a leading brand in its segment. So what is the guiding principle behind the success of the brand?
In one line, it's not a cliche, let me tell you that. In one line, we put people first.
Sure.
Okay, everybody says you put customer first, right? We don't do that. we put people first. I mean, you just asked the previous question. So again, I talked about people, right? So
Yes.
we believe in people. Put people first. If you put people first, they passionately do their work. When they passionately do the work, the customers automatically become first. Okay, so that is where our brand has hit on a major high. The second thing is the culture of innovation. We do a lot of innovation, not only the large one is there maybe about 2 or 3 a year, but there is small innovation which is a part of the culture of the family. And I think the small innovation are maybe about 30 to 40 in a year. So our monitoring or the process or the hardware is not stagnant. There's about 20 to 30 small innovations being added, and maybe 2 or 3 large ones.
Okay.
And that has put us as a major force to deal with.
So please tell us more about the active deterrence technology implemented at Securens.
Yeah, that is something we started first time in India, and now I think everybody says active deterrence, but active deterrence is a word that we used when we started. It means being able to deter actively. That means find out an intrusion is happening online, and the ability to deter it immediately as it happens using video verification, lights, and sound. And this is the first time in India it was used. Till then, in India, we were using offline alarm panels, which were just sending an SMS. Can you imagine, Sen, that the burglaries happen between 2 and 4 in the morning, right?
Okay.
Assume 2:30 or 3 o'clock, there is an SMS coming to your mobile when you're sleeping hard saying, "Tung, tung, are you going to wake up?" Of course not. It was a failure. So we started the first monitoring center in India with active deterrence, and that is being followed by all the monitoring companies in India today. So we have been leading not only at the start, but even today with all innovations, all changes, we have been leading. And our credibility and reliability is so high. Today, I think we can say that we have deterred 99% plus of the attempted crimes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's high reliability and high credibility that we have.
Okay. What kind of challenges do you face with customers who come from a very traditional security system background in terms of knowledge? How you educate them?
Sen, I think little bit different. I would beg to differ here.
Sure.
From the time I have been meeting the customer, this is 11 years back, they were using this offline, traditional alarm system, or sometimes not even that guards, right?
Sure.
But they were very knowledgeable. I think in India, one thing, we read a lot, all right? We investigate a lot. So to change minds was not as difficult as it was when I first, you must be aware that I installed one of the first ATMs in the country, right? To bring in the first ATM and convince them that use the ATM was far more difficult. But in this case, it was a little easy. The only problem we had was, how can I replace the guard? Because the guard inside the ATM is helping the customer, cleaning the ATM site and stuff like that. So that was a mindset. And then, people came to know that guards being there is not going to stop a robbery, right? Because it's a single guard with not even a lathi in his hand. Even lathi is not allowed, right? It's an arm, not allowed. So if 3 guys come to burgle it, normally 3 guys come. This guy is tried, hit, killed, or whatever. You must have seen so many news. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So it was a dangerous. Yeah. So then they all understood this. Yeah, this happens. And they were, India 11 years back had zoomed up in technology because of banking, right?
Sure.
The core banking which came in. Yeah, Nandan Nilekani and Narayan Murthy just killed it. Yeah. So by that time, the technology awareness was very, very high. So everybody was aware that once you introduce technology, 2 things happen. Firstly, the efficiency goes up substantially and the cost comes down considerably. So once they understood this, there was really no major resistance except to say, prove that it works. Yeah. So that was the early stages in 2011 and we have passed that now.
What is the level of acceptance in the residential space, especially when there is a cost involved? Okay, when it comes to high level of surveillance systems, it is very much accepted in the corporate world, I'm quite sure. So what is the level of acceptance in the residential space?
Right now, poor.
Okay. So
Really poor, because residential societies depend on the managing committees, right, of the society.
sure.
Yeah, and there is very number of people with very thought process, and frankly, today it is sad, but it is true. That's the only segment in India who is not serious about security or preventing crime. They are happy with having CCTV. Maybe even in your society it must be the same, right?
Yes.
You have CCTV and that's it, right? But the CCTV investment that you have put in is not being used to detect and deter a crime. It is there for forensic. So, गाड़ी चोरी हो गया.
After.
Okay, please look at the CCTV. Yeah. But
yeah.
गाड़ी तो चोरी हो गया. So nobody is preventing. But that is one segment people are definitely not serious. Besides the residential, you go out everywhere else, whether it is quick service restaurants, factories, warehouse, commercial buildings, yeah. Let's say IT park, right? IT park is owned and managed by a conglomerate, right?
Okay.
So these guys are very sure. These guys are very sure, and they have high level of security, including monitoring. Residences per se, unfortunately, that seriousness has not come.
So any particular steps you're taking to like create awareness regarding the need of surveillance system in the residence space?
Yes, we are doing a couple of seminars. We are talking to the people. But once it happens there, you will find that out of 20, maybe one person is interested still. And they're only looking at cost. As I said, that it has not gone into their minds that it is really, really important, because no major incident has taken place, right?
Sure.
So again, in ATM, you had full ATM being removed, right? In factories, you had pilferages. In warehouses, you had cartons being removed, right? So these were real stuff that was happening. But in residences, they believe, "Kuch nahi hua hai yaar. It's okay," But when it happens, it is a very sad thing that you had CCTV and you couldn't stop it. So this is the kind of thing we are trying to tell. It's insurance, right?
Yeah.
Why do you take insurance? It's not because you're going to die, right? Right? So that is why you take the insurance. Right? In case you die, you have something. So surveillance is something like that. In case there is a big incident, you should have this. But that thought process, unfortunately, I think it's not only Securens. I think the entire industry has to come together and try and bang it on their heads. Yeah.
What are the varieties of surveillance systems being offered by Securens?
Oh, many. As I said, we started with ATMs. We call it Active Deter. Then we went into warehouse. We got a couple of products for warehouse, which is protecting the entries of the warehouse premises, which is the dog gates, as we call it. Then we have audits, little more than Securens, that we do the audit of loading and unloading in a warehouse. We cover the perimeter of the warehouse in case it's a very important thing. Similarly, in factories, we do the audit of the plant floor to see whether SOPs are being followed. We do the factory shops to ensure that in the night time nobody opens it and takes the parts out. So a lot of things like this. In one of the factories, we are doing pallet counting. A lot of customizable thing we are doing. In commercial buildings, we are covering the perimeters. Why? Because you have to do a guard patrol, right? And guards don't do the patrol. You have to do the patrol 4 times in a night. You don't do it because you just say, "I did it." So what we do is we have a product which says e-guard patrol, active patrol, which automatically at defined times, the patrol starts camera to camera on the guard route, and we see if there is any suspicious activity. If not, cool. If it is, we call the guard room and tell them, camera number 5, area number 7, there is an intruder there. Yeah. And whatever we do is recorded. And if you want to ask a proof to us saying that Securens, please let us know whether you did your 2 a.m. Fine. Within 2 minutes, you will get the recording. 2 minutes, whatever we did, we saw everything you can see. So hundreds of such products are there on this.
Apart from surveillance, what are the best options to prevent a cybercrime?
Cybercrime. So I was talking about physical. Yeah, so we are into physical, not into cybercrime. We have not transitioned that as yet, but we will be transitioning that. Sen, very good question. It is an automatic Not many people have asked this question, but I'm very happy you asked it. It is an automatic transition, right?
Okay.
So you will find us transiting to cyber security as a complete offering, physical as well as electronic as well as cyber, probably next year. We are already in talks, and hopefully next year we would be full on.
How does it feel upon felicitation with the Brand of the Decade award?
That's amazing, right? So, we had, people were following us saying that we want to have the best. You are aware that we won the Marvel, we were runners up on the Marvel award for the best cutting edge technology, so now after that, people were following us to try and say, we also want to have the best technology. We had the best reliability of 99%. Everybody wanted to follow us up for that. We had different kinds of product. Everybody wanted to follow. So we created so much competition. Now this is a new competition. So now a lot of people would want to say, we want to be the brand of the year. So great. So I'm happy. I mean, let the community come up. But also in the other way, I'm happy that at all of these stages, that Securens was leading and somebody was following. So even today, I think it has not changed.
So what are the future plans of the company?
I'll have to be little vague.
Okay.
But I'll give you, since you're calling me, I'm telling you. By next year, next financial year, or in the next financial year, we'll be moving out of India to maybe about 3 to 5 countries.
Okay.
The work has started, and one or two countries can happen this year, this financial year, and next financial year might be 2 or 3 large countries.
What do you think? Like how government can step into this industry to improve it? Is there any steps that you can suggest?
Yes, I think government did 2 phenomenal jobs. Okay, firstly, they said that every ATM should have e-surveillance. Once they said that, everybody went to e-surveillance, right? Similarly, with the bank branches, government said branches e-surveillance. They have done that, right? They have not said anything else. So that government push is required. If the government says you should be protected, every society should be protected, then e-surveillance has to be there so that the government job is reduced, right? The police's job is reduced, right? They say every commercial building has to be protected through e-surveillance. I mean, if it's a law, it happens, right? Or if it's not even a law, it's just a suggestion also it happens. Like how it happened in ATM banking, right? But it's not happening everywhere else. So if it is universal, especially in residential areas and commercial buildings, then it is okay. Because in residential areas, a lot of old people are there, right? They need to be taken care of. There's nobody there. Most of the people, you're aware, right? Today in India, father, mother here, parents abroad, sons abroad, right? So all this can be resolved if you have a proper surveillance system. It is not there. So if the government, and then there is so many police complaints. You saw it recently in the TV also, right? A couple of days back. So then these things would not happen if there is surveillance. So if the government is serious about security of the people, they can do as they were serious about ATMs.
So my last question to you, how does the brand handle market competition?
You should ask this question to my competition rather than to me. Because we don't see the competition, right? We are always ahead, one step ahead. And we are not cost minus, right? So our cost is not the cheapest. We are always a little bit higher, maybe about 10% higher. But we got the largest number of orders from my customer, the largest wallet share at a cost 10% higher. And the reason why it does not affect us, as I told you, we are innovating all the time. So when I go and tell the customer, now this product, we have also added this. Now this guy behind me suddenly says, oh shit, this has been added, right? No, I have to add it. So now it's always ahead. So I think our strength was on the innovation. As I told you, 20 to 30 small innovation, 2 to 3 big innovations a year. And that is pretty big moat for a competition to handle year on year. This is year on year. This is not one time.
Okay. So thank you so much for taking out this time for us. It was very insightful talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.